Yo, what is good, world? It's your boy, Calvin Leroy King, the third. And as always, I have my lovely co-hostess with the most by my side, Miss Reese PC, the one and only.
Hey, y'all.
And we thank y'all for tuning in and turning up for another dope episode of This, That, and the Third, the lifestyle show that gives you life. Literally. Now, we're going to begin the show in the best fashion we know how, and that's by beginning with some new news for all y'all new news. So, Miss Reese, what is topping off our news segment this week?
Did you watch the State of the Union address?
I did not. Did I miss anything is the question.
No.
Not much.
Because I tuned in late, right? And so...
You were just on time.
Yeah. You normally will watch it, right?
Right.
Depending on the president. I watched it with
Barack,
Clinton.
Yeah, Clinton.
I watched Bush and I watched Barack, right? And you always have, one side stand up and clap, and the other side. And I just think that is so funny, right? How divided.
Oh, yeah, the country.
It really is, right?
Congress and the country.
And so, whatever day it was, yesterday, Trump, the faces, and the cameras were doing
the reactions, yeah.
Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the new congresswoman.
None of these motherfuckers. I root for them.
Their faces were just said it all, right? Then Nancy Pelosi. Did you see
I saw that emoji or that meme where she was giving this nigga the slow clap.
Revenge and embracing the common good. She clapped madly. Their eyes met.
Pelosi was like, "You're never getting your wall."
So
you need acknowledgement. Here it is.
The few things that he did touch on that I caught was, of course, the wall.
What's going on with the wall?
He said people before him have been pushing for this wall.
People as in presidents?
Presidents, Congress people, senators.
It's not my idea.
Yeah.
I'm just executing on it.
Right.
What the
Never heard about it.
I ain't heard that either. I ain't read that no history book.
So he's like, it's gonna get done. I'm gonna make sure.
Wanted it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure it gets done. That was his big thing. Of course, that was divided. He hit on pre-existing conditions.
In terms of like healthcare?
Yes.
What about them?
Making sure that all people with pre-existing conditions are covered and saved. But I thought he just slid that in there just because he got a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
My approval rating is at 12, and let me give you this.
He talked about immigration, obviously, how he had a family that were attacked by immigrants. I don't know what nationality these immigrants were, right? But
attacked by another immigrant family, or is this a white family got attacked by an immigrant family?
A person, an immigrant.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I'm like, yo, what?
And he put people in there to kind of help his story. Like he had a little boy whose last name is Trump, who gets bullied at school.
His last name was Trump.
Yes. And he gets bullied because of his name. And so he was there sitting like next to Melania, right?
Right.
Nobody cares.
No.
You're a bully. Then this is the one part that I've kind of been like glued into. He talked about banning late-term abortions.
What do you mean?
Like
what's late? What's late?
Well, second trimester.
Okay.
So
about that third month? After 3 months, you done? You having that kid. You having that child. Damn.
But, he covered a lot of things. There were some lies. There were some truths. And, of course, he kind of decorated it all. Yeah. He didn't say anything about shutting the government down again or calling a national emergency. He just said he's going to get his wall, and that was kind of it. I do want to point out, did you see Bobby Rush?
Nah, because I ain't see the shit. What Bobby on? Bobby, what's on, boy?
Why Bobby was the only man with a cream suit?
Cream? Like Easter? He had on his Easter suit?
He had
Easter
on a
Sunday?
cream suit.
Damn.
No man.
Yeah.
Black, blue, gray, navy.
Power.
He had on a cream.
Man, he said, I'm going to fuck him up with this one. Did he have on one of them hats like them niggas used to chase Tomcat through the alley, man?
No,
them niggas
but that was entertaining. But for the most part, I mean, the women had on white. I don't know why they had on white.
Okay.
But It was a shit show.
Yeah.
For the most part. It
Sounds
was
pretty
just
shitty.
Like,
Sounds
it was
pretty
like
shitty.
Nancy Pelosi gave a 2-year-old his platform to have his tantrum. You know what I mean? It was like that.
It's my wall and I want it now.
But the crazy thing is, I was just thinking back on other presidents, and he has no charisma. Because
no swag.
Even though George W. was silly and kind of goofy, right?
Yeah, it was endearing
Not
almost.
the
It was
smartest cookie, but he had something. He made you laugh, you know.
He was agile. He was ducking fools and shit. He had like he was better than this. That's in hindsight, we got to count our blessings. Like there was to be a president worse than Trump, and we would say the same thing about him 10, 20, 12 years from now and be like, oh man, there was a motherfucker worse than him. It's all comparative, I feel, and I think that he comes at the worst time as well because you're coming after one of the greatest presidents, in our opinion, ever, and now it's such a big drop off. You know
I'm not gonna say Obama was the greatest.
I said one of the greatest ever, so he's not top 3. You fucking with Franklin D. Roosevelt? Like, come on, son. Name the top 5 presidents.
I don't know.
Exactly, he's top 3.
Kennedy.
He was killed day 7. What the fuck? We don't know if he was a good president.
Lyndon B. Johnson.
What did he do?
Right, he did help push a lot of the civil rights stuff because he worked with King.
Lyndon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one.
2, come on, give Kennedy his
I'm
little
gonna give you
shine.
0.5, man. Pow pow. You
Kennedy.
remember?
You know we gonna say Clinton.
Come
right?
on, son.
Even
we
though a lot of people went to jail.
He did so much bad shit too.
Yeah, but it didn't affect.
It just affected your uncles and potentially your children. What? Come on.
And Obama.
And Obama. So he's top 4. Well, we'll be in the middle. I say top 3. She say top 5. He's top 4.
Yeah, because I mean, people could argue that Obama could have did more or whatever, but yeah.
But Trump is bottom 1, motherfucker.
Horrible.
Straight like that. What else is going on in new news for all these new news?
Okay, so blackface. This is a thing. Okay, apparently this is a thing that we need to talk about, and it's so much of a thing. I actually left Nehemiah at home watching blackface on YouTube because he just like kids don't know, right?
You gonna learn.
And when we were Googling, you had like a lot of different white kids coming up who do that shit on Halloween, right?
Think it's cute, think it's funny and shit.
The parents, on some of the videos, the parents are like, well, she just didn't know. She doesn't know the history. So I said, well, let me educate my child, make sure he knows
so he's not
the history,
ignorant out here in these streets.
Virginia Governor Ralph Northam.
Hey, Ralph.
Allegedly, right? It's a picture that resurfaced from his medical school yearbook.
Uh-oh.
It's a picture of
yearbooks in medical school? Goddamn.
Yeah, and I was like, medical school? You're a governor? What?
Son.
What happened?
How? What career path did you take?
So it was a picture of a guy, all blackface, and then it was a picture, in that same picture, it was a guy dressed in KKK. He said, at first he came out and said he was one of them, but he didn't know which. Then he came back and said, no, as he recalled it, he's not in either of the people in the picture, right? And I was like, well, okay, 30 years ago, I guess maybe you don't remember. Right. I got a pretty good memory. I remember
I know what
20
parties
years ago
I was
what
at, what pictures I took, usually.
But, okay, we'll go with that, right? 30 years ago, can't blame you. He was young, dumb,
and out
stupid,
of control.
Right? That's what white boys do. White people, they do stupid
up,
shit, right? Okay, do we fire him? Then he kept going and saying, well, there was a time I did dress up in blackface. And I dressed up as Michael Jackson. And I had the glove, and he went into details. He was like, I wouldn't moonwalk, but my wife thinks it's in poor taste.
Well,
I was like,
that's the moonwalk is in poor taste, but blackface is in good taste. And if you are Mike with the glove, aren't you in white face? How the fuck?
Well, so for him to admit that he's done it before, right? Maybe this picture wasn't him. Should he be fired? Now, all these Democrats, right? Yeah, step down. He shouldn't be in office. Now, if he stepped down, the person underneath him, which is a black guy, he's also a Democrat, he's under fire for sexual harassment.
Come on, son.
Right? The person under him, who also is a Democrat, a white guy, is under fire for, I want to say some racist
money laundering.
Something similar.
You niggas all got different charges?
All the 3 of the Democrats would be gone, and then they would have to replace it with a Republican. So, for the sake of numbers, leave the man alone. And because you got Kavanaugh, isn't he a justice now? Right? He lied.
No justice.
He did some bullshit. So Trump's in office. He lied. He does bullshit.
Yeah.
So I get it. It's wrong. It's horrible. Shouldn't happen. But for we need the numbers.
We need the numbers.
We need the numbers.
At least he's a Democrat. Listen, this is my question. Are we at the point now where we just accept the fact that niggas ain't shit? And when I say niggas, I mean politicians. And they're just in these positions because they're part of the machine. They know the right people. They get into the positions of power. I mean, it sounds like he's a medical doctor that's a governor.
Yeah,
I don't really know how that even happens. But at the end of the day,
Maybe
do we just
dropped out.
assume that everybody is corrupt, everybody is scandalous, everybody doesn't have our best interests? So the shock factor is gone. And it's just like, oh, well, I expect you to be a terrible person, but how effective are you in office is all we should evaluate them on? Are we getting to that point?
No, we shouldn't get to that point.
Do morals matter?
Morals do matter,
Morals
but just
matter?
not right now.
Right, not right now.
Numbers.
Not in 2019. Maybe 2020 we'll
We
get back
need
to
numbers.
morals.
But so to go back to this blackface thing, I had to look it up too because I remember it, but like when did it start?
He wasn't there.
Yeah, it wasn't. So it started in the 1830s. Did you know that?
I didn't know exactly when it started, but I did see a movie on the Fire Stick. Shout out Fire Stick. And it said like 100 years in black cinema, and it talked about that
Era.
continuum and that spectrum of how we went from getting opportunities to the Denzels of the world.
Yeah, so it started in the 1830s, and I saw this little 7-minute video, and it said basically that obviously it was a form of entertainment for whites, and the blackface was a way to make them feel comfortable. Because even when it started in the 1830s, there were black people who did it as well and still had to put on the blackface. Right. And I never understood that piece of it. And it was to make them feel comfortable so that
Them as in white actors.
The audience
Feel comfortable seeing portrayals of black people without black people physically need to be there?
That, and when the black people started to perform, they wore blackface.
So it's like, this isn't really me. This is a mask that I'm wearing and it makes you feel comfortable? What type of twisted fucking shit is that?
So, a couple doctors.
I'm black. What the fuck?
A couple doctors and psychologists obviously were like, this was a time when these were white people's perception of how we were. How we act, how we talked, how we danced.
And then also the look, because it wants to be the big, dark, oily skin and the big red, pink lips.
Pink lips, yeah. So Burt Williams actually was one of the most successful performers of that era.
White guy dressing up in blackface? Black guy dressing up in blackface. Okay.
Yeah, and he made it to Broadway.
Okay.
And so the minstrel show kind of died out in the 1900s, but then it went into film in the 1920s.
Yeah. That's what I was watching, like the Step and Fetch, the motherfucker that was on Three Stooges. It was like there's always a scared black chef.
The kid that was in the I saw
Little Rascals. Yeah, the Little Rascals. Yeah, Buckwheat. They had what's her name? She played Gone with the Wind, Mammy and Gone with the Wind.
Yeah. I don't know her name.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. And eloquent as fuck. Like when did her acceptance speech? I don't think she was allowed to go accept her award, but like wherever she did accept her award at, eloquent as fuck, dog. Like articulate.
So not what the stereotype.
Yeah, so not what. She wasn't the help.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we were relegated to those roles. And there was like, in that film I'm talking about, 100 Years in Black Cinema, it shows you these educated brothers that had to take these lesser roles, these step and fetch, these Sambo, these man-tan-ass roles just to work and feed their family. And it's kind of one of those things like, what do I do? This is an opportunity for us to be in films, period. Versus we're not being represented how we should be. So it's like one of those crawl before you walk type things.
And it almost is like that opened the door for us in a whole nother way.
Yeah.
We didn't see it then. But it needs to be talked about, and I think kids of all races need to learn about this so that they understand Halloween time is not a game, it's not a joke to do that. So
blackface is whack face, man. But at the end of the day, what do y'all think? First of all, weigh in, let us know in the comments. But also, like, is it ever acceptable, right? Because you know how we done took the word nigga over and shit, right? Is it ever acceptable for us to use it to our advantage and be like, we can wear blackface and y'all can't? Or is it just like something that should never, ever, but under any circumstances, be used?
Blackface
Serves
should
a purpose.
never, ever be used. Like, for what?
Why was it originally? To
Why
make
are
other
you-
people feel comfortable, right?
Yeah, to make audiences.
I don't get that in the first place.
To entertain and make the white audiences feel comfortable because what did he say? He said they were, they feared us, but they also had a curiosity and anxiety behind wanting to know about us.
Would you agree with blackface in porn?
No.
What? Y'all say all the white women are stealing all the brothers. So what if a white dude dressed up in blackface and fake like he was a black dude in porn?
But his stuff gonna be pink. So he's
What if he black penis? Can you black penis?
no.
You're like, what the fuck? I can't see that shit. Where's it at? There's never a right time to
No.
blackface is our thesis here on this and
Yes.
the third. All right, we got any new news? Any more new news for these new news?
Okay, so we're gonna go back to Roe v. Wade, right? I had to look that
God
up.
damn! I ain't heard that since. Goddamn, I heard that. What we talking about Roe versus Wade for? What was Roe versus Wade?
Okay, so Roe was the young lady who was trying to get an abortion and couldn't,
Oh,
right?
I thought it was Suge Knight, Death Row, and Dwayne Wade.
No, Wade was the prosecuting attorney.
Got it.
Yeah,
I'm caught up.
So she was, I think, out of her first trimester, right? But she was just trying to get an abortion and couldn't. And because at that time the government had different stipulations after a certain time. Okay, so in January 22nd, 1972, Justice Harry Blackmun protected the woman's right to choose in the 14th Amendment. And so they just set different rules for different trimesters, right?
Right.
And then as time...
Wait. What's an example of a different rule for different trimesters?
So the first trimester was completely up to the mom. It was mom's choice. Government had no say.
Right.
The second trimester, government could regulate but not ban it. So
What would the
regulate
regulation look like?
could be depending on the state. Certain,
Right, okay,
certain
so it's local
places
now.
could do
Okay.
it. Certain, you
Yeah.
can't go here or you can't.
But couldn't nobody do shit the first 3 months except the mom?
Yeah, it was completely up to her.
And then second trimester, it goes to a local authority.
Yeah.
All right. Anything can be done in the third trimester?
The government could ban unless it put the mother's health in danger.
Okay, so if it was an at-risk pregnancy,
For
that's
the
the
mom.
only reason that
The
they would
only
allow abortion
Right.
at that third trimester. Got
Right. So as the years went on, they saw different cases, different things came up, and they kind of adjusted, right? So the anti-abortion people kind of were like, okay, they didn't really want to push. They didn't push too hard because they just saw changes being made and they were okay. But now that they see their opportunity to like reverse it completely because of the justices that are in there, I just can't imagine living in this world not having that right.
Not having that choice.
I just cannot. And so on Vice this week,
Hey, Vice.
different states, a lot of states actually have made different trigger bills. Consequently, if the things get flipped, they are already in place and they can just roll.
Right.
So now they want to go back to the heartbeat law, which is as soon as that heartbeat, you cannot do anything.
And when is that? How soon in the pregnancy process is the heartbeat?
8 weeks.
So 2 months. So you don't even have until the end of the first trimester at this point. Damn.
I know. I just
Damn.
feel like somebody's taking my right.
Man, taking your
My
right to kill
right
that baby. Fuck that baby. Kill that baby. This is my thing, man. This is my
My right
thing.
to choose. It's my choice.
This is my thing. It's tough because we as men who are usually the ones making these decisions, not saying black men, not saying that at all, but the men that are usually at the table making these decisions, yay or nay, are not the ones that have ever experienced what it's like to be pregnant, to go through a miscarriage, to go through a high-risk pregnancy,
raped.
to be raped and impregnated, to just slip up
Yeah.
and know that we're not ready to bring a child into the
Yeah.
world, and it's in the best interest of everybody involved to terminate this pregnancy on week 9. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a very slippery slope. It's unfortunate, but what do you think the solution would be, if any? Like, you just can kill the baby whenever, or you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the solution?
Leave the shits alone.
Leave it up to the.
Leave it up to the woman.
Okay.
Because I do think in the Obama administration, right, they pushed to get medical coverage, right? Because that doesn't cover it. Your insurance usually doesn't cover that, or you have to pay out of pocket. Well, okay, that's doable.
Right.
Like, why? I just, like you said, it's a bunch of men trying to make a choice for a woman. And I just don't think that that's fair.
Yeah, it's
or
insensitive
right.
too. It's insensitive.
And, you know, y'all already cutting assistants. So y'all just want people to be out here popping babies?
And one thing I don't understand is it sounds like, and I don't have the facts or stats or statistics to back this up, but it just seems like they're trying to really do population control. So why would you put policies in place that increase the population when you have people that willingly will help control the population? So that part doesn't make sense to me, man. I know that at the end of the day, the driving force behind this shit is always dollars. And I don't really know how it benefits the economy for them to force people to have children after 8 weeks versus allowing them to terminate and control the population. I don't get that part.
Yeah, I don't get it either. But if they really overturn it like completely and ban it, and we go back to people looking for people in basements and shit, that could be horrible.
That hanger, that basketball rim hanger.
That could be fucking horrible.
Let me get in them guts.
I can't even imagine that.
Get in them guts, Stacy. Pull that embryo out of you.
So y'all just stay woke and be aware of what's going on, because they already banned transgender from the military. So I'm just
what's
saying.
Next? But I just would say also be smart proactively. I think this is a reactive solution to population control, but like maybe strap up. Abstinence is a far-fetched. I get it. But maybe strap up, maybe pull out a little bit sooner, maybe suck more dick, women. If you let them bust in your mouth and it doesn't really...
It's just not having that choice bothers me.
Yeah, I get it. Right, back to the crux of the conversation. I'm just trying to give proactive solutions.
Yeah,
That's
get on some birth control. But I'm just saying, just...
What's it called? The IUD? UDI?
IUD.
IUD, get that up in you. Get that up in you. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what do you say? But I think that about wraps us up for new news, for all y'all new news on this week's episode of This, That, and the Third.
Literally.